Today I want to discuss disability insurance claims related to multiple sclerosis, also known as MS. Now, throughout the years, our firm has represented numerous people that have been suffering with the disease of multiple sclerosis, and it's often a claim that's challenged by disability insurance companies for a number of reasons. But the first reason that I want to discuss is the fact that we always hear this term that diagnosis does not equal disability. Within the realm of a claim for multiple sclerosis, can you explain what that means? Diagnosis doesn't necessarily equal disability?
Well, the one thing the insurance company is never going to do is they're not going to discredit that you have the condition. If the MRIs show lesions on the brain, or sometimes there's other ways to objectively prove you have it, they're not going to say you don't have MS. Their argument is, well, it's not preventing you from doing your job. The nature of MS is being a progressive condition. I've represented clients who had it 10, 12 years and they're able to function, and then it got bad. So the insurance company would always be, well, what changed? You've been doing fine with it. So having the condition doesn't mean you can't work. So you always have to prove that relationship to be entitled to benefits.
Okay, so what could you recommend for people who are considering filing a claim, who are already on claim? How could they better improve their claim if they're suffering with MS?
Well, I think the biggest thing is what exact portion of the MS is affecting you. For some people, obviously, become to the point of being wheelchair bound. The physical aspects. What type of testing can you do to show the physical limitations you're going to have? From a cognitive side effect too, if they're having problem with concentration, memory, what testing can be done to document those cognitive issues? Those are the pieces that are going to show how your condition, how the MS is affecting you from doing work, because we do get the image of people being wheelchair bound, and it's easy to see that the condition's progressed, but a lot of people aren't necessarily in that stage, but they're at a point where the condition really is impacting their ability to work.
What about, I know a lot of people that I've represented with MS have flares of their condition, and that can go on for days, weeks, or months at a time, and they have an episodic flare and it goes on for an extended period of time, and then their employer fires them. And then they go back to the doctor and say, maybe I feel a little bit better, and the disability carrier approves them temporarily and then cuts off their benefits. So those are very challenging issues to deal with, and I think you have to have a very cooperative, supportive, and understanding doctor who knows how to document your conditions and can also talk about how going back into the work environment can exacerbate your MS symptoms. So that's something that you need to be aware of if you have a claim for MS. The other things to talk about with MS that you touched on was there's a physical component and there's also a cognitive component to it. How does that cognitive component get challenged by a disability insurance company when they try to limit that into a mental nervous condition and say that you have a cognitive condition that's mental, not necessarily physical related to MS?
I think that's going to always be a factor of what the medical records have supported through. Of course, the insurance company has the desire to put it in there so they can potentially limit it in the policy. But a lot of times the testing can show what's the base cause. Is it depression that's causing it, or is it the condition itself? Obviously, if you're suffering with MS and you have the cognitive problems, you know that's what's causing it. But the insurance companies, especially under the group ERISA policies, when there's no real financial disincentive to act like a bunch of jerks, they're going to make you fight them on it. They're going to challenge it on it. I've recently did an appeal for a gentleman. It was the same thing. 10 years he had it. He worked at what was considered a sedentary occupation. They made well, what's changed? What's made it worse? We had neuropsychological testing performed, functional capacity evaluations. They overturned their decision, reapproved the long-term disability claim. Within 3 months, they were already challenging. Well, what are the limitations now? What's going on? The records are saying that it's stable. So if it's stable, and
in 3 months,
in 3 months, we're already going through the process again with this insurance company. So just because they prove you and you have a very serious medical condition, it's not to say that they're not going to continue to make you provide them with that evidence.
You mentioned something about functional capacity testing. I know you and I have done videos on that before. Why can that be helpful or not helpful in a disability insurance claim?
Well, it can be helpful if, say, you had a light-duty job or even a sedentary sometimes, and because of whether the gait's being affected, balance issues, strength deficiencies, you're not able to even work at those levels, because insurance companies always like to say your job was this, but it was sedentary. So that can help support that they can't do it. How can that be helpful is obviously if it says you can do sedentary work, that could obviously be harmful to the claim. But that's not to say we still don't have issues from the cognitive side. So every claim's different. You never know. It's always a matter of what the job is and what those duties entail. So each one has to be looked at differently just because of that.
Steve, I agree with you that with MS being a progressive condition, that it's really the most difficult thing is you had it for this amount of period of time. What changed and what made you not able to do your job anymore? And there are a lot of things that people can do with their claims from what I call the medical legal perspective to try to prove to the disability company that this is a disabling condition for them. So if you have MS and you have a disability insurance policy and you're considering filing or you're on claim or you believe that your claim is going to be denied or has been denied, we always offer a free consultation. We welcome the opportunity to speak with you and let you know right away whether or not we think we can help you.